Rachel McLaughlin, or commonly known as Racing Rachel to thoroughbred racing fans and bettors, has been playing the game and climbing the ladder for 15 years between Hoosier Park and Horseshoe Indy Racing and Casino as a thoroughbred analyst. Coming from a small town in Indiana with limited opportunities, she has seen and experienced so much in a man's game, while growing professionally in a sport that has created the Goliath of legal sports gambling. Rachel doesn't hold back and has been known to make internet trolls eat their words when it comes to women in sports. Now, let's get to business. Hey everybody, this is your host Tatiana Ryan, and this is the Businessy Podcast. Today, I have with me a very outspoken woman. She is Rachel McLaughlin, horse racing analyst and host from Horseshoe Indy Racing and Casino, but you are also more affectionately known as Racing Rachel to your peers, and probably some off-put bettors have some worse names for you, but whatever.
Yes, oh yeah. Don't even have to be off-putting bettors. There's a lot of people that have worse names for me. I'll tell you that for free.
Rachel has a very distinct sense of humor, as you can tell. She lets everything roll off of her. So let's dive right into these questions. Rachel, how did you get your start in horse racing, which is very, very male-dominated?
Yes, it is. I was actually raised by a single father, and I have a brother. So my whole life has been male-dominated. But there's not a whole lot to do in Anderson, Indiana, which is where I'm from, where Hoosier Park is. At the time, it was just there was a GM factory, which is where my dad worked. So I'm not from a horse racing background, and the track. And I just was obsessed with horses since day one. Like, I was the crazy girl that was looking up horse breeds on, an encyclopedia. And I went to the track. My grandpa kind of taught me how to read a program, and the rest is history. I was just a horse crazy girl who, at least knew how to read a program. And it started out very small, and I just worked my way up to the 5 jobs I have now.
The 5 jobs you have now. We're going to get into like all of your hats.
Yeah, because I'm lucky though. I don't want to make it sound like it's complaining or I'm doing like too much, but a lot of women that do my job, like, it's hard to have kids and a family, and you work at a track for 6 months and then it closes down and you move. So I've really been blessed to be able to do other jobs, and I have a marketing degree and such. So going back to where I got my start, I went to Ball State University. I wanted to be Erin Andrews. I wanted to do football TV, and I ended up switching it to sports marketing just because of the way it was at the time. We were kind of going through a recession. I was more worried about making money out of college than doing really what I wanted to do. And I got an internship at Hoosier Park with Tammy Knox, who you met when you were here. And she's a sweetheart. She gave me my first job, and the rest is history. They hired me full time right after my internship, and I've just been banging away at it ever since.
Now, you said you've been there about 14 years between Hoosier and Indy itself. Now, you've been there analyzing horses, but it's swiftly changing to where it's getting more and more females into not only the horse analysis, but as you just said, with Erin Andrews, sports itself.
Yeah, I'm so excited about that.
What do you see with the industry, and how have you seen it changing?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. And I was just talking to somebody about this. So I just counted when you asked me, look at me with my fingers, 15 years. So what, you're 23, right? When you graduate college, and I'm 37. So it's been 15 years that I've been doing this. And this is how I've seen it different. When I first started, and Brian Elmore, who was the guy that hired me, he was the general manager at Hoosier Park. He's still to this day, every time he sees me, he's like, "Yep, I made that. She's successful because of me," He sat me down, and I'll never forget this. He said, I'm tired of talking heads, which is kind of what they called it. You know what I mean? You got 2 men, and they're just like, wah, 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 And so I think Brian really just saw like a vision with me. He was like, this girl's young, I'm not going to, let's all face it was because I looked good on camera and I was comfortable on camera mainly. Obviously, that's a proponent to it. Not always, but that's a plus. And he just saw an opportunity. And when I started, and I got a lot of flack. I was just telling my buddy Scott Piney, who worked with me here and at Hoosier, and now he's back with us. Fox Sports at this time, every time I'm on, they're like, Rachel, pull the veil back. Don't just read the program. Don't talk like you're on the simulcast. You want to tell people that something that they can't see on paper. That's what I used to do when I started. I would just talk about the horses, and I just got it like beat in my head. Like, you don't sound professional enough. They wanted me to sound more like a man. Okay, so now I sound like more like a man. It took 10 years to ingrain it into my head. And now everyone's kind of catching up to where I kind of was. You know what I mean? It's more fun, more relaxed. You see on FanDuel TV, the guys aren't in suits anymore. They're in nice sweaters and jeans. Andy being Cones on FanDuel in her cute little but tasteful crop top, but she looks age appropriate and nice, and that makes my heart happy. It really does, because it can get so boring to people, and you can lose any analyst job. Doesn't matter if you're talking about racing or sports or car racing. So to have it be more fun and see that the whole nation's doing that now, and it's more fun and funny and making jokes and talk about the serious stuff, but have a personality. You really just want to sit there and talk like you're a robot. That's my biggest pet peeve. So I guess to answer your question, from what I've seen over the years, is it's gotten more like that. It's gotten more fun, more relaxed, and less, stuffy, I guess I could say.
Well, we've had Jessica Paquette, who is the Parks race caller.
Love Jessica.
On the podcast, who told her story about getting into her position. And she's another one who has taken a lot of flack in her position. How do you deal with putting your best foot forward every day when there are these guys that are going to give it right back to you?
Yeah, I just think of Eric, to be honest with you. Do you want to know why? Because every time I initiate with one of these trolls or guys who I don't even know why, I told Jessica, and I just talked on the phone the other day, I was like, girl, stop reading it. If I have learned that what other people say about me is none of my business. Okay. I don't, I mute anyone who's negative or rude. I don't even need to see it I don't mute constructive criticism. I'm very transparent, and I think that's important. But if someone is just mean, that's beneath me. It's like my quote is, the lion does not concern itself with the opinion of sheep. So I literally and that was very hard for me, because I am a very confrontational person, just naturally. So
Eric's read some of my tweets.
Yes. And so Eric's like, I think of Eric, I'm like, okay, if I respond to this as my boss, and just one of the best, not one, he is the best boss I've ever had in my life, and I respect him so much, am I going to get him in trouble? Is he going to have to he gets DMs on his Twitter when I mouth off to people. So I'm not going to say I'm a punching bag, because I will respond to some people and say, okay, you're blatantly wrong. You did not fact check this, and this is why. But if it's something that's just being miserable, and why would I even waste my time with that? So that's kind of how I do it. I just don't let it bother me. Even Eric has set me down and been like, I'm too confident for my own good. I feel like it is. Like, I'll do my annual review, and there's not one bad thing. I'm like, I'm the best. I'm so great. There's nothing I can do wrong. And he's like, Rachel, you need to start being a little bit more critical and thinking about how you can. I'm like, okay, fine. I like to live up in space and pretend that everything's great. So that's kind of how I deal with it, I guess.
To the listeners, who Rachel is talking about is Eric Hallstrom, who is the GM.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Horseshoe Indy, but no, if you guys go out to Horseshoe Indy, definitely he will give you a high five. You guys will definitely have a great time there. Going into that, I had the opportunity to come out to an event with you guys, and I had a blast with you guys, because you guys are like a family. We raised money for the I Win charity. We gave away luxury items. We supported the women of racing. But you not only do the analysis of the horses, you run a lot of these events. And you're getting into, as you said, some of these other bigger sports networks and affiliates. How do you keep all of this together?
I don't know. People ask me that all the time. I'm also a single mom, and I have a farm, and I have 2 horses. I don't know, honestly. Just a day at a time. I also will give a shout out to Brian Aragoni, who's the other host. The other day, I was kind of getting overwhelmed when he was here for Derby, and I said, I have to do this, and I have to do that, and I have to do this. And he goes, Rachel, you get to do this. Like, there are so many people that would take your job. Like, don't say that. You get to do it. You're lucky. And I was like, yeah. So I think that, and Eric is very, like, my boss, Eric, he knows that I'm always working my butt off, whether I'm at home in the mornings, handicapping and waiting for changes and tweeting stuff out. And, it's a big juggling act, especially that night. And people like you, like when you come in for big events and I have to be on FS2 or whatever, I'm not going to lie. I couldn't do it. I don't get some of the other people like analysts or people that are on shows. They kind of protect their spot. Well, I feel like if you have to protect it that much, you probably shouldn't have it. Like if you're so threatened to bring someone else in to help your product look better, then you probably don't deserve that spot. I love having people like you in. I love having JJ was there. Wasn't he great for the Pacers? Yeah, and such a great crowd. He was amazing. It was a great crowd. And Jimmy Mack, I just think the more people, the more better your signal looks, more people want to be a part of it. So I think that and just having like a great support. Tammy was amazing. We're like a family, and we sit down and we think, how can we make this better? And that helps me get through a lot of it. But it's very much like, this here. Let me show you guys. Like I have a schedule every day. So I just am like conditioned to take everything 30 minutes at a time. So if I get stressed out, I'm like, okay, let's finish this. And then we're going to do this. And let's not worry about that race or this problem or this meeting until we get through this. And then I kind of refocus everything. So I guess that's kind of how I deal with it. I compartmentalize a lot of it.
Okay. Now you just brought up Brian Aragoni telling you that you get to do this. You work for Horseshoe Indy, which is a Caesars brand. Now, you guys are so community oriented. How do you think that plays into bettering your brand? As you said, having more people come out, having a bigger event, and doing more with the community.
Oh my gosh. That is something that there was a previous owner before Caesars and this owner. I am very proud to say that they have always been about giving back to the community. The contests are free. There's no admission here. Eric has magnified that times 10. His dad was a veteran. So we kind of have gotten this cool niche where we get to do a Veterans Day and a lot of the things and the charities that we do. You were here for the Indiana Women in Need, but we also give a lot to the homeless veterans here, fund downtown Indy. And as far as bettering the brand, I just think that people appreciate, because it's no lie that Caesars makes a lot of money, obviously. So I think that it just shows people, what a great team we are and how important it is for us to give back to the community. We don't just take, we give free events, and those free events also raise money for homeless veterans. We sell the blankets and everything. So I guess I just think that it's very important, and it makes me very proud to work here at this property and with these guys who are always thinking, hey, what's another way that we could use, this platform that we've been given to give, to the less fortunate, which I think is amazing. I always, donate. Someone asked me, they were like, how do you send all those blankets out? Because I'll give them away, or I sell them, not all the time, but I sell them on X, and it is a juggling act to be like, okay, this guy, and this guy sent it, and then he sent it on Venmo, and he sent it on Cash App, and I'm like doing all this. So that's a whole nother little project of it, but it's worth it because we go visit them in the winter, and they're so thankful. And one of my best friends, Heather, I got to give her a shout out. She works for Andre Carson in the Veterans Unit, and she helps with all of them, and so it's very near and dear to our hearts, and we really wouldn't do it any other way, honestly.
Well, I learned that when you guys were doing the lawn jockey giveaway. You guys were taking donations like everywhere.
And Chris and Eric's wife paints those. It's not even like we go get them. Eric's wife literally paints them herself.
Oh, we can't tell the internet that because she already had one. Like as I was leaving,
she's
some
so
guy
critical.
came up to her and he's like, "Can you make me one too?" And she's like,
"Let's not."
I guess.
Let's not pimp poor Chris out. She's got enough to deal with me and Eric and all this in her own job.
Chris is Eric Hallstrom's wife, and we love her too.
Yes,
she is amazing.
So. Yeah, she's awesome.
All right, so you're in Indianapolis.
That's a city that is becoming more and more well-known for women in sports. You have Caitlin Park out there with the basketball team. You have the Irsay sisters that just took over the Indianapolis Colts dynasty.
I love that. Yes.
You have racing out there. Danica Patrick. Like all of these very powerful women that have made such strong names in that city. What do you feel about that?
You know what, Tatiana, that's so funny you said that, because there is this culture here. Let's just talk about this track for a second. I'll tie it into that. There is such a culture here for female jockeys and trainers. It's weird. Like, you can't explain it. The culture of something. But our male jockeys, our male owners, they all promote. Like, I'm staring at Chaz Recchi right here. Chaz is a female trainer. She just won a race last week. Tiana Richardville, female trainer. Tracy Wisner, female trainer. Michelle Elliott, her mom was like a pioneer in breeding and owning in Indiana. Michelle Elliott's mom, Amy. Aaron Thompson. There's so many. And Sophie Doyle, I just talked to, female jockey. She started here when she was an apprentice. I was talking to somebody the other day. I'm like, I don't know what it is about Indiana, but we just promote women here. Like, we're very much, they don't ignore the women jockeys when they have a mount that they think will be good for a girl. Even I was talking to one of the head trainers the other day. I go, have you ever tried, a female jockey on her? She might want just get along better with girls. People don't realize that some of these horses don't like men. Maybe a man was mean to them. Maybe when they were in the field, someone yelled at them. Horses are very particular creatures. And I think what you just said kind of answered my question. I think that's kind of how the state is. We have so many, for lack of a better word, badass women in this state that it's just sort of, I think, just ingrained in us here to also support women. So that's what I think about it. I think that is like trickled into our track, and I think it's so important. I'm very lucky, and I like to always promote the women, the minorities, not even just women, the black jockeys or the young kids that are starting, or the women jockeys. I always make a point not to just talk to the head guys or the ones that win the most. I like to talk to the ones that are just starting, or aren't as popular as the head jockeys that everybody knows.
Now, the gaming industry itself is having a huge glow up with the introduction of more mainstream sports coming into the wagering aspect, where we didn't have that before. Horse racing started it all. You've always been able to bet on horse racing. As a media personality of horse racing and a horse owner yourself, what do you foresee for the industry?
I love it. I was almost afraid, like, my main goal in this industry, like my personal thing, aside from work and stuff, is to get people, well, I used to say my age, now I'm old. So the younger generation. The younger generation. I used to be like, oh my gosh, I want to get like 25-year-olds, like 30-year-olds in here. Now I'm almost 40, so it's like, yes, I want to get younger people into this, because I was so worried that so the affectionate term is degenerates, which it sounds bad, but degenerate in racing and betting is not a bad thing. That just means the people that eat, live, and breathe, whatever sport they're obsessed with. And so I just was so afraid that if I didn't get these younger people into it, I wasn't going to have a job when I got older. You know what I mean? When you start out at 23 and everyone's either a dude or 55, you get a little worried, because in 10, 15 years they're going to be 65, 70. And once betting became this whole thing, I was like, oh yes, we did it. We did it, because now you cannot turn on anything without seeing. I just saw LeBron on a bet app commercial, Kevin Hart, Shaq. Like, people are so obsessed now with online gaming because it's so fun, and now it's so much easier to get to. I love that for the sport, because you're right, it started pretty much with horse racing, and now it's like trickled into betting. You can bet on any game, any professional game, anywhere at this point, almost. So just very excited for, I guess, that job security. You know what I mean, Tatiana? Like, I'm a little less niche now.
with that, you have been expanding into FanDuel and FS1, and like people are now getting to know your fun-loving side. And also, it's Taco Tuesday. You guys got tacos?
Taco Tuesday. Yep, I just had taco. Swear to God. When you texted me and said, "Hey, I'm ready," I was literally shoving my face with carne asada.
How do you keep that fun-loving side? The show must go on. Like, I'm shoving a taco down my throat, but now I gotta get on this call.
Me. That's me. Well, it's just like I told you. It's like I have to compartmentalize. When you said you were ready, I was like, okay. I wanted to like run up and just go ahead and get it, like not get it over with, but I wanted to. And then I was like, wait, no, I know. Sorry. I don't like people waiting because people wait on me all the time because I'm naturally late. So when you said you were ready, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go. And I was like, no, Rachel, this is what I have to do to myself. No, Rachel. You're editing this video and you're eating a taco. If you don't eat this taco, you're going to be hangry and you're not going to be as much fun for Tatiana. So, but yeah, the fun loving side, I think I've had to squander, to be completely honest with you. Before Eric was here, I definitely, I loved the management before. I actually, my ex-mother-in-law is still a friend of mine. She was my boss. So it's not that I didn't love them, but it was very much like kind of stuck in the olden ages before Eric came. And once Eric was here, he kind of realized how popular I was. Not that I was super popular, but that I don't think that the other management really realized. They kind of saw me as like a young girl who didn't know what they were doing. And Eric realized kind of how popular I was with some of the other, out in the land. So that I think helped me be a little bit more, and the times changed. From when I first started, I was trying to contain all of this and hide it. I was trying to be very, very professional and not say anything like super funny. Like I didn't want to not be taken seriously because I have blonde hair and blue eyes. And so I toned it down a lot, and it was a big act for me to be very serious all the time. And then I feel like as time's gone on, obviously Eric got here and things have changed a little bit. I feel like it's so much more fun to have fun. Talk about the serious stuff, handicap the race. But today we were, on FanDuel, we were joking around about how they got a shot of a bald eagle in a plane. And I was like, America, like you can still joke and be a serious person. And probably with me getting older, when you're younger in this industry, and I'd say probably for women who are graduating college, you probably will have to do that for a little bit, put on a very serious professional face if you want to be in a sports male dominated industry. And there are times when you have to do that anyway, but as time goes on, you'll be able to kind of let your personality out, and it just takes kind of time to get to, I think, a level where people know that you're serious and you're crap, but you can still, have a personality.
Well, expanding on all of that, horse racing itself is very vocal. As we know, many have their opinion. Many in horse racing are kind of territorial and very protective of the traditions and everything. Mm-hmm. And with, as you said, seeing LeBron or seeing Kevin Hart or seeing Livy Dunn, who just did a Riders Up call at the Kentucky Derby, there was a lot of pushback on that. That it's like, oh, it should be somebody within the industry. What do you say to all that?
I think that
it's so traditional.
It is. It's the sport of kings, and I think the Riders Up thing, if you want my specific opinion, that's stupid. It's Riders Up, really. Mm-hmm. Like, there are times when, do you want to, everyone talks about changing the timing for the Triple Crown because this is a different time and it's too quick of a turnaround and blah, but that was the point. That I get. Like, some of the traditional, foundational things of our sport, I definitely think there are some that do need to be held and steeped in tradition. And I think that that's very important. That's why I love this sport. It's so amazing, and it's something that they did in the 1800s, and we're still doing it, and I think there's a whole integrity that should be respected. I'm not saying that, but some of that stuff is just, that's where people are, I think, just finding something to complain about. You can't keep every single thing like that back in the Stone Ages, or we're never gonna get new fans. All the guys who have been betting on us forever are going to not be able to anymore. And then your sport's going to die. You have to evolve with the times a little bit. Keep the tradition, but I think that there's a lot of room for improvement. But at the same time, there's always one guy. Like, you can please 20 guys with that, with whoever you choose to do the call or switch this or change a bet from a 10-cent. I mean, when we got rid of the jackpot pick six, everybody freaked out. Not everybody, but my old dudes freaked out, and then everyone on Twitter was like, yes, you know. So it's like, you make someone mad, you make 20 happy. So it's the things that are going to make 20 people mad and one happy is what you need to probably not worry about. That's kind of my rule.
We mentioned Twitter quite a bit and the use of social media with increasing the fan base itself. How do you think it plays into increasing it, or maybe like getting some people turned off by it, by what they see?
X is like the bane of my existence, Twitter, I swear. That's a really good question, honestly. Tatiana, and I really, really think that if anything is popular and successful, like, look at the Kardashians, okay? Let's just take it all the way out of sports. Look at the Kardashians. They're wildly successful, have 1 million trillion followers. Are there a ton of people that think they're so stupid and so fake and blah, blah, blah? Yeah, but those are the same people that are liking and commenting and contributing to their popularity. That's kind of how I see some of that stuff with social media. Like, I'm not dumb. Like, I know what gets likes, I know what gets views, and sometimes it might be a pretty picture of me on a horse. And like, I'm not here to entertain your opinion of that. If you want to get on there and say I'm stupid or I'm ugly or I'm super hot and that's amazing, great. All your comments, whether they're negative or not, still benefit me. So I just think that social media is what it is at this point. Our whole lives are kind of surrounded by it. And the way that I look at it is I want to not take it seriously. And it took me so long not to just want to like reply to every person who said anything bad about me or my friends or anyone. And now I just realize, like, that is literally, I could care less what people say about me online, because if I've walked up to a couple of guys who are extra mean to me in person when I've seen them at like handicapping challenges. And the second I'm in front of them, it's you know, like they're so nice to me. They're like, oh my God, you're so amazing. And I just like totally handle it with grace. I'm like, okay, because like online you know, called me a pig or whatever. And I don't say that. I just handle it with grace. But I will purposely walk up to people that are like that just to see how they act, because they don't always act like that when you're in front of them. It's behind the keyboard that gives them the power. And I just think of that as like false power. You really don't. You just all you have is social media to do that. So that's kind of how I look at social media. It's very important for like the business, but it's not important to me personally. Does that make sense?
No. Now let's talk about your property itself, because you're at Horseshoe Indy, which is kind of outside of Indianapolis. But you guys make it, and this is what I was so impressed by with your property, is you guys make it so comfortable. It's so comfortable there. You've got chairs out there, and you've got this big awning, and you've got a stage for somebody to come up and do some like singing and stuff like that. Like, you guys are very community oriented, but you're very comfortable too.
Yeah, and that's what I love. It's kind of funny when, so I've been on FanDuel TV, TVG, with all these people for so long. And just recently, we, you know, in the last 4 or 5 years, we've been having the Analyst out. You know, Caden's come out, Caden Brader's come out, Matt Carruthers says, these are all people on FanDuel racing forever, you guys, in case the listeners that don't know. But I love when they come out and they're like, oh my God, this is so nice. these people are so great. Everyone's nice. Even the regulars will be like, hey, how are you? Like, and they're not pushy or rude. They just like are very nice. Or you ask someone that's like a regular and doesn't even work here where stuff is, they'll show you or they'll tell me, hey, so-and-so needed to know where this was. It's very homey and very wonderful. And whenever the people from California or Kentucky or whatever come up, they're like, wow, this place is really nice, and you guys really helped me out, got me a table, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, did you guys think that we were just like running races in a backyard with some cornfields out here? I mean, I know that it's in Indiana, but we've worked pretty hard to make it a nice facility, and I'm very proud that it is. And everyone that's come has said that too. And so I'm very happy that you got the traditional Midwest hospitality kind of experience, because I'm very proud of everyone that comes here that they say that that's what they get.
Well, we're not just talking about the Midwest hospitality itself, but Kentucky Downs just had a huge meet with a very it's more of a European style track than the known tracks of America with their just a turf and dirt circle. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Do you think that'll start expanding here with the different tracks?
You know what? That is actually sort of what reminds me of what I just said. They're literally racing in a backyard. Mm-hmm. Like there's like nothing. That's how it started. Literally, when I went the first time to Kentucky Downs, you literally, Tatiana, like walked up outside. Mm-hmm. There was nothing but one tent, and you just set your chairs up along the rail. And it was awesome. I loved it. I was like, yes, because I'm a redneck, really, when it all comes down to it. So I was like, yeah, I got my folding chair, got my cooler. I'm sitting here and drink some beers and watch some horses. Yeah, and now it's gotten a little bit fancier. But I do think that the industry is kind of embracing that. That it's not there, obviously like the Churchills and the Santa Anitas and stuff, but just some good old racing and fun and some beers is not bad either. It doesn't have to be all pomp and circumstance all the time, which we love that. That's obviously the best part about racing is getting dressed up and wearing a hat and everything, but it's also fun just to kind of hang out.
Mm-hmm. That was a very cool meet to watch because, as you just said, it was like that. But they were rolling out with $1 million pots there too.
Yeah, and you're just like in a grass field, pretty much. It's insane. I love it. I love Kentucky Downs. It's fun.
Now, what do you say to the audience that's listening? Like, how do they get out to Indy? How do they get involved in horse racing? How do they get involved in more of the community things that you guys are doing also?
Yeah, we are, unlike most tracks in the country, we do not have a, admission. You can come out here for completely free. You can park for free. You can come out here, you were just talking about the deep seating, which is like comfy patio furniture, sit in a couch, you can sit at a picnic table, and you can watch horse racing. And it's so easy to do that here. You don't have to get a ticket. You don't have to get a hotel, whatever. You can stay right down the road. So, it's super easy. You follow all of us. We're all on X. On Twitter, Racing Rachel M, HSND Racing. The website is I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm just full transparency. Corporate handles that, the website. So it does get a little bit. I always tell people, go to the website, just Google Horseshoe Indianapolis. If you can't find what you need to know there, hop on X, hop on Facebook, send us a message, send me a message. My DMs are open. I manage both the HSND Racing Twitter site and mine. So if you have a question, there's a lot of times guys will just tweet me and be like, hey, Rach, what's going on tomorrow? How do I enter the contest? I just respond to a guy. I'm like, here, email this, I think that's another thing that I take a lot of pride in is transparency and actually interacting with people on social media. I'm not, some of the other people or personalities are a little bit more guarded, and that's fine for them, but I'm very much an open book, and I'm not going to get tens of thousands of followers and then just stop talking to people because I'm, they're the ones that followed me. They're the ones that watch me. They're the ones why I get to do what I do. So I am very, very invested in responding to people. So if you need anything, find me on social, find our racetrack site if you can't find it on the website, but it's pretty easy to get here. I mean, we're just a straight shot down from Indy, like 20 minutes. So
okay. And your casino itself, it's a full casino. It isn't just slots. You guys get to play
live.
Yeah. I was like, blackjack tables, yeah.
So I work here. So just like a little personal thing, I work here, and my brother was a digi dealer at the other casino in Anderson, and now he's a live dealer. And our casino here, like, sorry, I love you guys at Hoosier Park, but ours is like Vegas style. Did you go over there?
Yeah, I did.
Fancy.
You guys got the steakhouse and everything there too.
Yes, we got binions and everything, which is like my favorite thing to do when I work at the NHC in Vegas in March. I love going and getting a filet at Jack Binion's. It's amazing. So yeah, we have that here. So, and it's very close. It's very easy to get here, and maybe one day we'll have a hotel, but there's one 5 minutes down the road. So it's a good little trip. If you like betting, if you like horses, it's a nice spot. I've had a bunch of guys come up to me in the last couple years that are like, hey, we drove here from New York and we're stopping here on our way to blah, blah, blah. So really happy when people do that. It's awesome to have people come visit us here.
All right, where can everybody find you on social media, girl?
At Racing Rachel M or at HS Indy Racing.
All right, I will link everything in the body of this podcast. And Rachel, it has been a pleasure having you on. We talked quickly, but we talked a lot.
Yeah.
Hour.
I'm so sorry that when you were here, I didn't even get to really hang out with you. I got to see Tatiana for like 2 minutes. She came into my messy, crappy office. And then she was off doing announcements, and I was on Fox Sports. And I'm just so glad that you came, though, and that Eric introduced us. It's just been a blast, and you're a great ally to help and see and do all this. You're a great person to work with. Thanks, Tatiana, for having me on.
Well, we are doing this again next year. We already have a date, so everybody's got to just stay tuned. But we
need you to help us like elevate the Silks and Roses event. We need a little bit of Tatiana touch to it.
Because I got into the elevator to go up to the third floor, like as I was leaving your property, and some guy goes, "Is there like a ball or something up there?" Because I had that big pink dress on. So Chris is like, "You have to wear a tiara next time."
Yes. Yes. A tiara. I want like a diamond choker or something.
We'll really elevate it next time.
I've got ball gowns. I have had dresses to everything you can imagine, and I save all of it. I'm a hoarder. Like I've got like gold sequins floor link gowns. We'll do it right next year.
Girl, we are doing Cinderella. All up and down. All right, awesome. Rachel, thank you so much. My name is Tatiana Ryan. This is the Businessy Podcast, and this is Racing Rachel from Horseshoe Indy Racing and Casino.
Thanks, guys.